Welcome to another Wardy's Waffle Farm update. I hope you enjoyed the last one I put up 2 or 3 nights ago, where I looked at talking to Simon Hutton and looking at Tiller's Turf and Fine Turf and the growing of the football pitches they do near Lincoln for Tottenham and Wembley amongst 2 of them, and the other Premier League clubs they do. Really fascinating insight into another sort of business that relies on water and fertiliser and soil like agriculture does in producing food. So take a look at that update. I think that was update 73. Anyway, this week, or this update, we have got lots of harvesting of wheat. We're well into that now, and variable yields, light land not so good, but heavy land is good. The combine breakdown as well, which has been a bit frustrating, but we get well into that. So there's lots of footage of harvesting wheat. Also look at storing the wheat and what we do when it's into store. Cooling it again is important with the temperatures of the sun and outside where we are at the moment. And also we look in detail at what we do to the trailer loads when they come into the yard. We don't just tip them, we do lots of sampling and analysing of the load before it's tipped. So we look at that as well. So hope you enjoy this week's update. Thank you very much for watching, and here we go. Got Jess here from BBC Radio Lincolnshire.
Hello.
We're going to have a go on the combine.
Yes.
You've never been on one before?
No.
I'm
a bit nervous, but I'm also excited.
Yeah, it'll be all right. It'll be good. And all we're going to do there, we're just going to try a little bit for to see what the moisture is. So we won't be doing a whole field, if you like. We're going to be doing 2 or 3 minutes just to see what it's like.
Okay.
But you're going to record it, and we're going to go out live on the radio.
Okay. This is going to be interesting. Combining live on the radio.
Yeah, that's right. And you're dressed very appropriately.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sandals.
First
dress.
Yeah, first lady I've had in the cab wearing a flowery dress, I think. But anyway, there's the first for everything.
Why didn't I wear trousers today and trainers of all days?
So we'll put the dogs away. We've got Nala there having a scratch. We've got little Frankie down here. So we'll put the dogs away just for a minute, and we'll go and have a crack. The sun's out at the minute, but
beautiful.
We need it. We'll see what it's like.
Yeah, we need it.
Jess here now. We're back down in the weighbridge. We've done our combining, and this is what we've got out the tank.
Yeah.
So let's just see what this is, Jess, and we'll see whether it's fit to go today. But I don't think it will be.
Keep going. Keep going.
Keep going. That's it until we're green for the light. That's it.
Oh, there we go.
You're all right. That's okay. Yep.
Okay.
Now press that green button.
Green button.
And again, I think.
And again.
That's it.
And then it's gonna.
So, have you enjoyed your trip on the combine?
I have absolutely loved it. Do you want to offer me a job?
Yeah, I think you've got a job.
Yeah.
But was it what you thought?
I loved it. Do you know, I really enjoyed it. I found it quite peaceful, actually.
Yeah,
Sort of just sitting next to you while you were going, and I was absolutely amazed by the tech.
Yeah.
I had no idea there was so many screens and buttons and.
I know. You just don't realise unless you're doing what it is.
The tech behind agriculture is insane. It's amazing.
So, we've got a reading here. What have we got?
Okay, so it says 16.18 moisture.
There we go.
And that's the temperature of the wheat.
Yes, that's right. That's it. And then the middle one is the bushel weight. So that's sort of one of the quality parameters.
So that's 75.64
bushel weight. Which is okay for feed wheat. It could be a little bit more, but that's okay. So that moisture we need it at 15%. That's what we said. So it's a bit high.
A bit high.
So we need to hopefully keep the weather out. It's looking bright at the
get
minute.
some sun.
Yeah, we want some sun.
It was drizzling a minute ago, but I think it's going to be nice.
It's nice. So that's it. So anyway, we've done a few bits live today.
Yes, we
have. The programme. What was that going on?
Yeah, so that's been on Laurie's programme this morning on BBC Radio Lincolnshire. We drove the combine. Well, I say we. You drove the combine live on BBC Radio Lincolnshire. We also did the measuring as well and checked how moist the wheat was. And I've spent a lot of time just fussing your dogs.
So they are lovely. So
you've got a gorgeous German Shepherd that I'm a bit obsessed with.
Nala's lovely. And then we've done a bit on rural crime.
Yes, we've just spoken about rural crime as well, because Lincolnshire, as you know, has just come top. The NFU have just done this survey and said that Lincolnshire is the worst affected. So we talked about what could be done, your experiences of rural crime as well, and also the new legislation to tackle hair coursing. We talked about that as well. So it's been a really interesting morning. I've learned a lot. I've learned a hell of a lot.
Brilliant.
So
well, come back anytime. You're welcome. And anytime
I really appreciate it.
Whenever we get anything, I think once putting out there, I'll be giving you a call.
Please do.
Great.
Please do.
Thanks, Jess. We've just had a little nibble of this wheat just to check the moisture. I've got a sample bag here full. You can just see a bit we've done down here. So I'm just going to go and get this through the moisture meter and just see what it was. Tested it about 12 o'clock today and it was 16.9. We're trying to get it down to 15 so that this lovely thing up here called sun dries it for free. So we'll just check the moisture and see what it is. So there we have another nice bold sample. There's the odd green one in there. You can just see There under my thumb there's a green grain, but generally looks a nice sample. So we're in the weighbridge now, just throwing the sample in. .76, yeah, I think that's goable. By the time we get a trailer load, it's going to be down to 15 or just above, so it'll be dry enough to go. You might have seen we've got a couple of different blades for pushing up various things. Well, here they are. That one at the back is the one you've seen pushing up sugar beet, but we've also got it in one or two of the sheds for pushing up grain on the smaller sheds. And this is the longer one we use for pushing up the rape and in the bigger shed. And this one is 5.5 meters long, and that one there is 3.5 meters long. That is a really old one. We must have had that one 30 years, maybe a bit more. It used to have it when we had Sanderson forklifts, and we had it for that, and then we adapted it and cut all the brackets off to make it fit the Manitou. This one is probably 8 to 10 years old, but it's got two different brackets on it. You've got JCB brackets on there, and then it's got Manitou brackets inside there, so we can actually, it will fit different forklifts, which is handy. But yeah, they're the two different sizes we use. I'm just going to push this these two loads of wheat up. We've got an older blade here that's not as long as the one you've seen for rape, because in these lower sheds we don't need to go as high, or we can't go as high, and the longer blade is a much more difficult one to manage. So I've got two loads here you can see need pushing up, so we'll just do that, and it doesn't take too long. Probably both those two loads, maybe 36 tons, take 4 or 5 minutes at the most. So I always just push the boom out a little bit. You can see on the side there the letters in a minute. Just see A showing, and then we get out to where it says B, and then leave it like that, and then we push this up. We're just starting our wheats on our heavy land, and you'll notice here when we're going around the outside of a field and start a field, we don't do the outside breed to start with. We go on the tram line. That's the second breed, and that's so that the trailer following round the field has got somewhere to run, because the trailers always run in the tram lines when they're running around the field to get to the combine. So we combine that first, so you can see the sprayer wheeling just behind, so you can just see that there behind the combine. That's the tram line, as we call it, or the sprayer wheeling, not the combine track marks. So that's where the sprayer will run. Then the second time round the field, the combine will do this part here, and again his unloading spout will be out to the left as he's going up the field here, so again the trailer can run in the tram line and have somewhere to run. It doesn't matter quite so much this year when it's drying so hard, but most years it does, so we're just getting a habit of keeping to the tram lines whenever we can. So you can see there the trailer's following the combine around the field, and it just fits in the tram line nicely. Fuel delivery arrived today. Ordered this about 2 days ago. That was all 3 days ago. 19,000 litres here, and the value of this is around about £18,000. It's one heck of a lot. I'm not quite sure how long this will last. We've only just started harvesting, but it'll only last us probably maybe 3 weeks. It'll get us through harvest, that is for sure, but we won't be able to get into drilling. We'll need another lorry. I've got Dave, the driver here, and where have you brought this from?
It's come from Kingsbury Terminal down just this side of Birmingham on the M42. We're from Six Hills in Leicester.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Yeah, you know Prince Petroleum, where the go-kart track is?
Yeah, just in
right
there.
behind there.
Right. Just interesting looking at these different pots, as we call it, and controls.
They're the pots.
Yeah.
Yep. I've had it on multi-pot with the computer.
Is that what we've had out up to now?
Yeah, that's what's counting, and that's what's going in the tank as we speak.
So out of 19,000 total.
Yeah.
So are all these pots the same size?
No, we've got a 5,000, a 5,000,
Yeah.
a 4,000,
Yeah.
and a 5,000.
Right.
So when I put it on multi-pot, it just goes from pot to pot, from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1.
You don't have to do anything?
No.
Right.
No, it's all
I'll
run
say
with...
you've got that control there.
Yeah, the remote. As you
Yeah.
can see, it's counting, so I can see what's going on here.
Right.
As soon as the pot's empty, this bubble down there goes down,
Yeah.
as you can see. Then if you move to that one that is emptying now, the bubble's still up,
Oh, I see, yeah.
and the yellow bubble's still up at the top. As soon as the yellow bubble goes down, and that bubble goes down, below is empty.
You'll be using that reel, but
Yeah.
you're not today.
No, I'm using the Bulkos.
Yeah.
The reel usually on this one pumps about 300 litres a minute, but if I show you here, you press the menu button, instantaneous flow, press OK, and it's going at 503 litres a minute.
Wow, into that. Well, we'll have a look round here. And our tank here, so we've got the capability of doing both.
Yep.
And you carry adapters, don't you, with it
Yes.
as well?
Yeah.
So that goes, obviously you prefer this because it's a lot quicker and easier.
Oh yeah, it gets me out of here quicker and gets me out your way.
Yeah. So that goes straight up there and straight into the top of the tank.
Yeah.
And then here we've got our pump and gauges there. We've got the gauge there. That's, you can just see how we can show that showing with there. We've got 18,500 litres in here because there was a little bit in it before Dave started, and then that's our pump out. So we can keep a real check on what goes into every tractor, and we do record that, so we know how many litres per hectare we know for growing each crop. So interesting. And we've got Nala as well guarding it. Obviously it's too valuable load this is, so Nala's making sure that we've got it all empty and Dave's not going without any in.
I'm taking the dog.
We still haven't quite finished the offices off yet, but we're getting there. Today we've got the flooring company in, putting all the different flooring down. We've got cushion flooring in one area and carpet tiles in another. They've done a really good job. There's the offcuts that we'll keep. A nice type of mid-grey they've done. So yeah, pleased with this, looks really good. A bit of a mat there. Yes, Nala, you're going to be coming in here. And then round in here we've got some cushion flooring. This will be the for Tom and Reuben and Ian having the breaks. Toilets through there. Looks good. And the ceiling around the edge. Is that clear you use?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. And then in the bed sit that we had built for a harvest student, but we haven't got one this year. Put carpet tiles in here, so easy to change if we need them changing. And then in the shower room, there we've got the cushion flooring there. I had to put some woods in the end of the doors to get it all in the shed. You see it in the top of the trailer there. This is the trouble with these trailers and low doorways. That's it, Tom. Whoa! You just see there about an inch clearance. Yeah, so we just got about another 4 more trailer loads. So what's that? 70 tons of this skyscraper to go in, and then that's all of our skyscraper. That's the variety. And if we can just get it all in here, it's worth £10 a tonne extra over standard feed wheat, so we want to try and keep it separate if we can and not mix it with another variety. You just can't beat having a big shed with big high doors like our other ones are. But go on, a bit more. Whoa! Nearly empty. So this is first thing next morning. We've got the boards up. Bit of a calamity last night. I was pushing up here and I caught the edge of this board. You can just see the tire mark there, and it split this board straight up the middle. So you can see there. But they're not really good enough. We need to do something different in this doorway. but we didn't use them for about 15 years, and then we've used them twice in the last 4 years. Anyway, just got this elevator in that we share, or not we share, it belongs to one of our contract farms, but it lets us use it. So we've got a full load of this skyscraper of ours, and then we've got another 6 hectares to go in here that belongs to one of the contract farms that we do, and then that will be all the skyscraper in this shed. Not the ideal situation on a Saturday morning when we've got lovely sunny weather, dry, no dew, crops fit and ready to harvest, but the combine is broken down with 2 problems. We only did 36 acres yesterday, 120 the day before, straw chopper problems on and off throughout the day, and then noticed as well yesterday we got a bearing gone on a pulley near the engine. Hopefully we'll get going later today, but we just don't know at the minute. And this is despite having a thorough winter service. Took about 2 weeks on and off, and maybe £6,000 worth spent on that over the winter. So at the minute we're stood, which isn't the ideal situation today, but we can't do anything about it. So it's 10:30 Saturday morning. We finished this field yesterday at a push. We only did 36 acres during the day. That was after sugar beet last year. So that's the dogs just having a play. That was after sugar beet last year, and it's done 11.9 tonnes per hectare, so that's about 4.8 tonnes per acre. So really good yield off that one. We're pleased with that. But interesting when you start to look at the data in the yield map, we're currently running a Bayer field view system in the cab, and when you look at the data off that, it's really interesting to see where the lower yielding areas are in the field, and I'll just show you that now and just talk you through it, because we get some interesting data and statistics off it, and it just shows you how much damage you can do to the soil and what sugar beet can do to the soil and resulting crops. You can see by the green at the bottom, the dark green is 12 tonnes a hectare or just above, and then it's 11.2 to 12, the lighter green. And you can alter that chart and put as many different parameters in you like. But I thought it was interesting to know, if you look down, let me just put this down on the stubble. If you look down on the end here, there, this end of the field and that end of the field is red, and also around the concrete pad there. Now, as I said, this was sugar beet last year, and of course sugar beet is notorious for machinery damaging it if the conditions aren't right. And obviously we've had harvesters turning on here, we've had trailers turning on here as well, and it just shows, and it did rain between lifting and cultivating this field, so it was cultivated, but it just shows the yield penalty we've had. So we're down here to sort of 9 tonnes a hectare at this end, and we're up to nearly 12 in the middle of the field. So it does just show that. Now that end. Now this is interesting, because there is the beet pad where we store the beet, and obviously all the trailers went out here to get to the concrete pad. So that again shows the damage to the soil that the trailers have done. So that is one field, and then if I highlight another field, go into this one there, just shows that red line through the middle of the field is a sprayed out footpath. You've seen me on those in the videos, and then that is another footpath goes across the angle. So it just shows how accurate this is, and all the lines up and down the screen, they're all as combine width up and down the field. So it's really fascinating to see how it varies from one, and it's 10.5 metres wide each those lines are, how they vary between there and there. Some of them, don't forget, there will be a tram line where we've got a gap in the crop, and so that will also be showing of a lower yield, because obviously there's no seed planted in those areas, and that's why we've got that. But fascinating system, and when it's actually in the cab, in the combine, it actually shows more information around the outside here and down here. And this is just a screenshot. Excuse me, this is a screenshot now of what it's like when it's in the combine cab. We'll do for this next week, I'll go in the cab when it's running and show you what information it comes up, because it is really, really powerful tool. We've got going, so we're lucky at the minute. Stopped for most, well, about till 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon, so we got going. So I apologise if the video isn't up to standard. I've got friend of mine, Tim from Cheltenham, behind the camera. We're just about to empty, there we go. So we've got the combine fixed now. Luckily the straw chopper problem is sorted. We think, anyway, let's not talk too soon. And we managed to get a part for it, but the pulley went back on, but it is still slightly damaged. But we are assured by Russells that they think it will last the season, so we'll see how we get on. So this is the field that we had sugar beet in. If you remember, it was planted on around about the end of November. Variety Shabras again, that's yielding very well for us. And you can see by the amount of grain going in the tank at the minute, it's coming out at quite a rate. This trailer holds, it's meant to be a 16-ton trailer, but like all Bailey trailers, it holds more than what it says. So yesterday I actually got 19 tons on here, but it is obviously that's not on the road, and that's over our weighbridge. So we know it's a true weight. So we're actually getting decent yields this year, which is good. Not quite sure on this one yet where we are until we finish, but at least we know all our yields, because they're all over the weighbridge, and all our tonnages are dead right. There we go, that's another probably 18 tons on there. Before we tip any trailer, the first thing we do is sample it, and that's to check all the quality's right, the moisture's right, so we know in the shed when it goes in, the condition of it and what we have to do to it. And we've got an automatic sampler here that with remote control here that we use outside to save climbing up on the trailers. This is it on the screen here, so I can work it from this joystick I've got on my hand. That goes across there, you can see, onto the trailer. I push it out, and then you can, this fan starts, you can see it going in the trailer, and then it goes into that collecting hopper there. Now you can see it, it's full depth in the trailer right to the bottom. Pull that out, pull it back, fold it back away out of the weighbridge so the tractors don't catch it when they come back in next time. And then here we have the collected sample that's just come out the trailer. Just tip that in there. We take 1 cupful out of there to put in this bucket. Now this is a collective sample of every trailer load, so we'll have a field will be in here when we finish. We mix it up and then we put it into these sample bags. So these 2 bags are samples from another field, and we keep 1 bag for ourselves, for our own records, then 1 will be sent off to a merchant to be analysed and checked, so we know exactly what's gone on. So that bag is a small amount of each trailer load from a field we did yesterday. So then we get, when I can find it, we then tip some grain in the sampler there. That's now gone green. We press that, drops the seed into the container inside, and it's a measured container that is the right size to get our bushel weight. It's an industry standard, this is, and all grains will weigh a different amount depending on how heavy they are. So 1,000 grains of one variety will weigh different to 1,000 grains of another. And this is a bushel weight, and all mills and end users where our produce is delivered to has the same standards. So this is why this is important. So now looking at this, we've got 13.39% moisture, 79.4 bushel and 29.97 temperature. So that needs to be under 15 for us to sell that and not get any deductions. So that's good, we don't have to dry it. Bushel weight here needs to be a minimum of 72 for feed wheat and 76 I think it is for milling wheat for make bread and biscuits. And the temperature, obviously that doesn't matter as long as we cool it down. So that proves that. Then what we do here, we've got a spreadsheet where we record everything. So we look at the date it's gone in, gross weight of the tractor and the trailer and the produce, tear what it is empty, and then the total weight on that load, and then the moisture, temperature, bushel weight, and which store it's gone into. And we have one of these for every field. And again, this is really good to know because we can keep a check on the temperature and we can keep a check on how this is going in store and where this particular load went in the store. Yes, it's a paper version, and I think you can get these linked up to a computer, the moisture meters, and whether you can the weighbridge get linked up to as well, I'm not sure, but it'd be handy to. You can see this one at the minute, 32.94 tons, and we'll just work that out. 32.94 minus 14.6 with 18.34 tons of wheat on that trailer, so that's good. So that's the whole process of every single trailer load before it goes into store. Not only do we have Bailey trailers, we also have Bailey drivers. Chris Bailey, Michael Bailey's only son, is helping us at nights and weekends after being at the factory turning out trailers like this. And this is cameraman Tim from Cheltenham, who has just done one of the videos you've seen. So yeah, so Chris is helping us, so we'll go watch him tip a load. Again, you tip up trailer a little bit so you can see underneath. So much easier to see and safer when you're backing to do this. The view is so much better. That's it. Again, the beauty of high sheds, you can see we're nowhere near the roof now compared to the other sheds you've seen us tipping. That's it, that's 18 tons in, so we just need to push that up. That's it, door shut, ready to go back for another load. So that's it for this update. Hope you've enjoyed it, and lots of harvesting action. Just to go, just to back and just summarise one or two of the yields. We've finished our skyscraper now, which is a Group 4 feed wheat, but a good quality feed wheat. And the Lightland skyscraper obviously wasn't so good because I've shown you the fields and I've said it was quite thin all year. And the Lightland skyscraper averaged 8.2 tonnes per hectare, which is about 3.3 tonnes per acre. So that was low. Whereas the Heavyland skyscraper was 11.2 tonnes per hectare, or 4.5 tonnes per acre. So a big difference between the Lightland and the Heavyland. But we did have a new variety in this field that I'm in now, called Cranium, and that actually did 10.4 tonnes a hectare. And again, I'll just show you that on the field view, and you can actually see the difference in that when you see the two side by side. So this is the field view map of the Cranium, or of the field with it in. You can see the red around the outside is the skyscraper, the green block through the middle is the Cranium. You've got one or two blemishes through that Cranium of an orangey colour, and that will be a tram line, obviously where it's slightly lower yielding, so it just shows the effect of a sprayer running through a crop, a few times throughout the year. But generally that just shows the difference in the yield. So when you look at that, you can see how much better it was there, 10.4 tonne a hectare through that middle. The light green sort of 10 tonne a hectare as well. So just shows this is really interesting that you can see how the two varieties compare against each other. And the other variety we've got mainly around the farm is one called Shabras, which is a feed wheat again, but it's an older variety, but it always does very well for us. We've only done a field and a half of that, but that at the minute is running at 11.9 tonnes per hectare, which of course is a great yield, and that's about 4.8 tonnes per acre for those of you from other countries who use the old measurements and not metric. Anyway, that's it for this week's update. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Click like, subscribe and the bell sound, and we'll see you next time.